Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Today is a masterclass where I'll be giving you 3 secrets which will help you inspire a child to get hooked on to reading and to books. And also, towards the end of this masterclass, I'll be presenting the new course that I have launched, which is called the Empowered Teaching Blueprint, which will definitely help you to stay empowered to help your child not just get drawn to books and not just get interest in reading, but also help build fluency in reading. So let's get started without much ado. Right. So in this masterclass, like I said, I'll be teaching you exactly 3 secrets to get your young child hooked on to reading. Now, to begin with, children are born with a curious disposition. Now, if you ask, what is being curious? It means, by definition, curiosity is a desire to learn, to understand new things, and to know how they work. This is just a definition. In layman terms, it's about exploring the surroundings. It's about knowing or trying to know what is behind something, like breaking a toy and finding out what is in that toy, what is hiding behind the door, what is under the pillow, what is it that I'm having in my hand. So it's a kind of a curious mind is a questioning mind. A curious mind is an open mind, right? A curious mind wants to know, the seeking mind. So yes, a curious mind is wonderful and it has a lot of positive attributes, in the sense it's open to different opinions, different lifestyles, and different topics. And a curious mind is always ready to learn, ready to know, ready to seek, ready to accept without too much of blockages. And children are definitely very curious. They are always eager to know. They're always eager to learn. They're always eager to explore what's there. And to top with the curiosity, and additionally, a child as young as 3 years, 4 years, or 5 years is also very, very energetic, right? It's a deadly combination. It's an amazing combination of a curious bent of mind with high energy. Now, as adults, we may not have that kind of an energy, and we may or may not be that curious. So we are, many times what happens is that we get too tired in dealing with a child's curious minds. They ask their constant badgering of questions and their high energy levels. So at this point, it's a very good thing to actually channelize their energy in a very positive way, such as instilling a very good habit in them. Because their mind and their brains, a brain is especially like a sponge. It's ready to absorb new information, new content. They're eager to learn. They're quick learners also. A child as young as 4 years, 5 years, if you see, they're very good learners. Any skill they can learn very quickly, and their body is also very malleable. They're able to do things that perhaps we also cannot do. And so it's the best time is to instill a great habit in them, which helps to resolve their curious bent of mind. It helps to address the curiosity in a lot of questions in the mind, and also to channelize the energy. And this particular habit is, yes, reading habit is the best time to get them drawn to books. But unfortunately, what we do as parents, we are just too tired. And yes, our life is also very busy. We have so many things bombarding in our own life. We have that difficult boss. We have so much of work. We are tired. Life is also not, helping us to specifically focus a lot of individual time with our children. So what we do when we are busy, we just put the cell phone in their hand and say, just look at this. By the time I'll finish my work, or I'll finish my cooking, whatever. The thing is, in a way, we are also encouraging them to get addicted to phone. In a way, we are also encouraging them to get so drawn to phone and just not really start engaging in high level physical activities. What happens is, slowly children also get addicted to phone, and they will stop playing for long periods of time. If you notice, a young child who is addicted to phone is more on the phone than actually playing, right? And it is dangerous too for their mental and physical health. But in a way, we are also responsible, because We have done this. I'm sure many of you might relate to this. Even I have done this. So many times when we are busy, we just put that phone in their hand and say, okay, just look at this cartoon. I'll just finish my work so that we are not disturbed. But, and I know there are many parents who also go a step further and say that is a new generation. They're learning a lot of new apps and gadgets and all those things. But unfortunately, what happens is that it has a detrimental effect on their mind and their brains as well. Such as researchers have revealed that smartphone addiction has a negative impact on children's psychological health, physical health, as well as academic performance. Well, it is pretty clear why psychological health, they are constantly looking at the phone. And it is well known fact that the radiation of the phone impacts the brain. And in a way, also affects their attention span, their way of their cognition, their level of thinking, their level of analytical ability. Everything gets affected by overexposure to cell phone radiation. And of course, physical health also, because now they are most of the time sitting in one corner and looking at phone. They are not really playing. They're not getting much of exercise. I'm sure you must have also heard of childhood obesity, right? One of the problem of childhood obesity is junk food that is there. Other reason could be, yes, less physical activity and more of inactive behaviors. One could be because of all the time sitting in front of phone for hours together, because when they should be playing, they are sitting in front of phone. I have also seen situations where children are getting together, they're all getting together as friends, and they're all sitting in different part of the room and with the phones. Scary, isn't it? But that's how it is. And also it impacts the academic performance, because now what happens is that because their brain is somewhere getting impacted, the attention span also gets reduced, and that impacts sitting tolerance and also their behavior in school. Yes, it impacts attention span. Yes, it impacts cognitive processes of the brain. So you see, it is definitely not good for the child. It's very detrimental for a young child's brain. And in simpler terms, cell phone affects the brain and eyes. Eyes also, yes, many children are having power reading glasses because they are having difficulty seeing the blackboard. They have many of the children, young children are having short sight. Now, if you take the other way around, instead, if we are able to instill a good habit such as reading from a young age and start reading aloud to children, how does that help? Well, reading aloud to children contributes to emergence of literacy skills, that is letter sound connection. Literacy skills is the beginning stage of reading. Literacy is like reading, right? Reading, writing are all part of literacy, being literate. So these skills, literacy skills, are important even before they start learning sounds such as rhyming and all that. So they begin to identify letters, makes letter sound connection. They're able to slowly blend in sounds to form short words. They acquire sensitivity to sound. So they know that the letter A gives the A sound, the letter G gives the G sound, the letter D gives the D sound. So they are able to now sound it out and start slowly reading words. How this comes, they will be hearing when you read to them. So because when you're reading to them, they're not only looking at the book, visually, they're also hearing and listening to the sounds that is coming when you're reading the story to them. It's happening, the learning is happening in the auditory way and also in the visual way. And that is an amazing thing. So this, in a way, helps to acquire sensitivity to sounds even before learning alphabets. Yeah, let me just add on a pointer here as well, that children first start learning logographically. That is, they first start seeing images. They may not even be reading a book. A child who is 3 years, 4 years, if they haven't started reading, they'll be first looking at the images, the pictures. That's why it's called logography. Slowly, they'll start looking at the letters and they'll start getting acclimatized to the sounds of the letters before actually reading the letter as a letter. For example, when they're looking at A, because they're listening to the sounds that when you're reading, they're able to listen to that letter sounds. They'll be first able to make a connection that this particular letter gives the A sound, or this particular letter gives the D sound. So they're able to make that letter sound connection, and then later on understand that, okay, this means the the letter D. D is for the letter D. K is for the letter C, or T is for the letter T. So that's how the learning happens in stages. This can be easily fast, the learning process can be speeded up by reading to the child very consistently and every day. Okay. Research from University of Melbourne has also stated that reading to young children is actually a great head start to life, which helps us explore the connection between parents reading and young children and their later reading success and cognitive skills. Yes, a child who is read to at an earlier stage, they find it much more easier in school years, later school years. Excuse me. So reading to children aged 4 to 5 years every single day has a positive effect on their thinking abilities. Cognitive skills is what thinking abilities, process learning, how they are processing information, how they're able to understand what is being read to. All these are part of cognition. So that skill improves. Okay. So in details terms, cognitive skills also improve. Language skills, numeracy skills, ability to think, ability to analyze situations, ability to analyze what's presented to them in the form of a connected text, questioning what is presented to them, problem solving abilities. See, these are all so important for any child or any individual per se, right? Because these are the fundamentals of a child having not just good literacy skills, but also being successful in life. All these things are necessary, right? So the fundamentals of developing these skills comes from exposure to reading itself, because when you're exposing them to books, to reading, all these skills get developed slowly, gradually. And these improvements to enhanced cognitive skills or thinking ability are in no way related to family background or home environment, which means even if you belong to the high class or elite or even middle class, lower middle class, it has no difference whatsoever. If you're just reading to your child every single day, if you're getting them drawn to books, if you're getting them drawn to the concept of reading is fun, you will see a lot of positive changes in your child itself in terms of building skills, in terms of being a lifelong learner, in terms of building that inquiry mindset, in terms of building questioning mindset, no matter what your background. So that's fantastic, right? And these are a result of how frequently and effectively is being read to before starting school, or even when they are in school or they've started school. So if you're being consistent, if you're doing it every single day, you will see results. No matter what, you will see results. And I have myself seen as a professional that a child who's read to and her child who's not being read to in the early years, the difference is so stark and so clearly you can see that. Well, one more research, according to the National Center for Early Childhood Development, Teaching and Learning, also explains that reading books to kids help expand number and variety of word usage, which means vocabulary. Okay, the way they present the later of their presentation in school, how they present their own content, their projects, everything will be of higher quality. Because let me tell you, a child who has been read to is also a thinker. Okay, and when a child is a thinker, he will be able to present projects with more depth, present his homework, class presentation with more depth. He or she. Okay, I'm just using he, not for any gender specific, it's just for convenience sake. Okay, so now you might ask, okay, I'm talking all these things. Why am I doing what I am doing? Well, I have a reason too why I'm so passionate about all this. Well, this is me in the middle. In school days, I was among one of the good students, may not be a topper, but definitely among the above average students in school. And my academics was good. I was also pretty good in co-curricular activities. That is, I used to participate in dance and song and sports. So in a way, I was pretty visible in school and popular in school, if you talk on those terms. This is me in the center. But one thing, I had empathy. Okay, I was someone who could understand a child's feelings, who could understand what a child was going through. And I knew that struggle learners could not find it easy, and that the school system is very much, in a way, in a faulty situation, that they only that the school education system only values high achievers. I'm sure many of you can relate to this also, right? So I had that empathy to understand that. So what used to happen was, when an examination gets done, the answered papers are given away. The teacher used to call out the students' names, and we used to go to the teacher, and she'll announce to the class the grade or the scores or the marks the child has acquired in that examination or the test. And if you have done well, it's a fantastic thing. Now that she's going to announce you got good grades in front of the entire class, isn't it a matter of pride? But what about if you are a struggle learner? Imagine the situation of the struggle learner, and I have seen that. The way a struggle learner walks towards the teacher with crestfallen eyes, and the teacher looks at the child with disdain. Not all teachers, huh? I'm not saying all teachers did that. There was just this one or two teachers who, I don't know, for whatever reasons, decided that if I'm going to be, criticizing the child, he or she might get motivated to study. Unfortunately, criticism doesn't motivate, encouragement motivates, right? So, well, the teacher used to look at the child with so much of anger, and this is what this, you have got this kind of a grade, and she'll announce the class that this is the grade the child has acquired. And we, as seventh grader, eighth grader, we didn't know much, so we'd be like, oh my god, he's got such a low score, oh my gosh, she's got such a low score, oh my god. In such hush hush terms we'll be discussing. And even at that age, when I was in the seventh and eighth grade, I could feel what the child was feeling. The feeling of shame, the feeling of not being good enough, the feeling of that I shouldn't be here, I don't belong here, was coming from that child. And I used to feel terrible, but I did not know what else to do. Fast forward 2-3 years, in 11th and 12th, I understood this, because I was seeing this on almost every year, that struggle learners could not find it easy. And I made it a point that I'm going to teach teachers, when I grow up, how to respect a child. There were some learnings, there were some reflections I got, that if the child has been grade 2, the child has been acquiring skill set from a young age, he or she wouldn't be in such a situation. Or may not, or maybe even if they have some difficulty, it wouldn't be so profound. A lot of things can get corrected from a young age itself. If they are read to from a young age, if they start getting the habit of reading itself. Because you see, academically, school content is what? Whether you're learning mathematics, whether you're learning social studies or science, a lot of it you need to have the skills, right? Literacy skills of reading, understanding, comprehending, reproducing, writing it in the right format, able to present your content with flow. But all that is possible only if you have literacy skills, or good literacy skills, right? Otherwise, how can you even absorb school content? How can you comprehend and retain school content? How can you present in school content in your own words, if you have to make a class presentation, if you don't even have the basic skills? So this is one thing I learned, that skills have to be built. If they're built from a young age, it is a lot more easier for children. Well, fast forward again a couple of years, I myself experienced this difference as a struggle learner in a professional institute, where after graduation, I went for doing fashion designing. I was so excited. I wanted to be a fashion designer. I'm going to be into fashion designing. Great. I got admission to fashion designing. But what was happening was, here I was a struggle learner. Okay. So here I was facing the same thing that a child in school was facing. I was having some skill set, I developed some skill set, but it wasn't adequate. For apparel design, you need to have good illustration skills, eye-hand coordination skills. It's a lot of hands on the job kind of skills that you need to have. You need to be able to drape well. You need to be able to stitch neatly. Everything should be neat and clean. You can't have those errors. It should be perfect. My work wasn't very perfect. It was a little hodgepodge. But I knew that I had good ideas. I had creative ideas. My designs were good. In fact, a particular client project, in many of the client projects for that matter, many of my designs got selected. So I knew that my ideas are good. I am creative, only that my presentation was hodgepodge, and that was going against me. So that was difficult because many of my batchmates could present things neatly and more accurately, and they would understand the technical aspects, which I was feeling inadequate. My technical skills were okay, but I needed more time to build on it. Unfortunately, by the end of the second year of learning, getting into Fashion Designing Institute, I was told that my skills are inadequate, and if I go in this rate, I will be asked to leave. Now you can imagine my situation. It was like, all my dreams are coming crashing down. Is like, if I don't buck up, if I don't spruce up my act, if I don't get my act together, they're going to be asking me to leave. And it was terrible for me. And I needed time, and they weren't ready to give me time. Finally, I had to drop out. I made a decision to drop out. Now that I was told to drop out, I made a decision to drop out because it was just too much of pressure. And I knew I needed time, and I knew I wasn't getting the time. So I decided to drop out. And after that, I didn't know what to do. But again, the same learnings I got is, had I had adequate skills, had I developed adequate skills and not waited for the institute to teach me the basic skills, I would have definitely been successful. The same thought that came to me by looking at my peer in school, my classmate in school. Had basic skills been ingrained from young age itself, a lot of things could have gone easier in the school going years. So here I was experiencing as a struggle learner, and prior to this, being a witness to somebody who's struggling in academics. Well, I did dabble with a couple of, after I dropped out of the Fashion Institute, I dabbled with a couple of jobs. I didn't know what to do because I didn't know which field to go into. I was in marketing, where I was successful actually. The breakthrough came to me in the form of Prayatna, which is actually a remedial institute where we work with children with learning disabilities. I remember this was an amazing, this 12 years that I had spent in Prayatna from 2008 was amazing, because here is where I got to actually work with children one-to-one, understanding how children respond, how children process information, what makes them inspired, how we can connect with children, how when connecting with children, they connect back with you and they listen to you. A lot of things can be resolved just by connecting with a child, understanding how a child thinks. So I had great work environment, great 12 years of my life was fantastic. So much of learning. I also improved my own as a professional. I grew. Loads of reflections even here in this section, in this place. One is, again, had the child been introduced to learning and being introduced to reading from a young age, they are able to understand school content better. And also in remedial, they make quicker progress than a child who has not been read to. Even if the child has a learning disability, even then, the difference is there vis-a-vis a child who has never been read to, a child who has never been exposed to reading. And also the interest level in learning. A child who has been read to has better interest. They have more interest in reading than a child who's never been read to. The interest level is very low. Because if interest is not there, it's more difficult to push them to read things, right? Yeah. And everything was fantastic, went well up until 2020, where COVID hit. And then my director decided that we cannot run the remedial center on. We had to move from offline to online because of the pandemic and because of the lockdown restrictions and all that. So finally, after a couple of months into the online space, my director decided that she's going to shut all the 3 centers where we were providing remedial instructions. And so, well, bad luck, we were all out of jobs. But then what happened is I decided, okay, I'm not able to get a job quickly, immediately. So I checked with the parent if they were willing to come one-on-one with me, like if they were willing to send their children with me as a freelancer. And they agree, they were more than happy because they were anyway seeing results. One thing I also noticed that, yes, I was able to work with children. Yes, I was able to generate results even on the online space, in improving their literacy skills, in improving reading interest. But I only had X amount of energy. I could only take a specific number of students because that much energy only I have. And many of the parents wanted help, and they were kind of lost as to how they can help, how they can contribute the child's learning. And they were like, ma'am, we don't know what to do. We're just running pillar to post for help. We don't know what to do. So I thought, why not do something for parents itself, wherein I could empower 100,000 parents to instill reading interest in their child and improve the reading fluency in their child. If I could actually teach them the strategies, the secrets to get empowered themselves to help their children, that would be a great thing. So this became a mission for me, is to empower 100,000 parents to instill reading interest and fluency in their child. Basically, help the children to become a curious reader. Well, before we proceed further, fact check number 1. Reading is not an innate skill, which means reading doesn't come naturally to everybody. You have to build it. Okay. So just because a child is going to start school doesn't mean the child is going to read also naturally. Some children go through school very easily. Some children struggle through it. So sometimes you will have to actually make a conscious effort and conscious decision to instill this habit of reading, to instill reading itself, how to read. Some children don't even know how to read. Some children get it naturally, some don't. So you will have to work with the children to get them to start reading. Because reading is not something like walking and talking. It doesn't happen automatically. It is a built skill. Fact check number 2. Most children do not naturally gravitate towards reading. Not all children will be interested in reading. You have to develop the interest in reading for them by working with them. One way is, of course, you being interested in reading yourself as a parent. Another way is creating environment within the house which shows that reading is fun, which shows that book is fun, and that it is important and it is relevant if they want to have easier school years. Fact check number 3 is being proactive is empowering. This is very huge. From the lessons I learned, from the witness I was to seeing my peers struggling through school years, I realized this, that if you're proactive, getting a child to be reading from a young age, you're going to do them a lot of service. It's a big favor you're doing for yourself and your child by helping them go through school years more smoothly, by ensuring that they are not struggling through school years and they're not going through these periods of low self-esteem, low self-confidence because they are not able to read vis-a-vis their peers. Yes, so when it comes to reading, yes, we have to definitely start reading. And for that, you need to connect with your child. Without connecting with your child, they aren't going to be reading. So one thing is, yes, connecting is to having that good relationship. Connecting is what? Getting a relationship with your child, loving them, getting to know who they are, getting to know how they think. That's all part of the connection. Well, actually, in my course, Empowered Teaching Blueprint, I'll be teaching you exactly the steps that you can even connect. I've broken down each and every step in a very simple way where you can even, it's like literally hand holding you, how you can connect with your child in effective ways so that you're also, it's very smooth and it's very organic and you're not stressed, neither is your child feeling forced for when connecting with you. But coming back to this, connecting with the child is not enough. There are definitely going to be challenges, like life is taking over. You have a very busy job. You're having a lot of work in your own workplace. You're not able to reach home on time. You're tired, a lot of things. You're not feeling reading is a priority. Is it really a priority? I don't think so. Many parents don't even think it's important. School is there. School will take care of. But let me tell you, it is important. If you really want to be proactive, if you really want to ensure that a lot of things, unnecessary, pain can be avoided, Start getting proactive. So these are going to be the basic challenges that any parent will face: time issues, energy constraint, not really seeing reading as a priority, child is not listening, child is having immense attention issue, not sitting with me for reading sessions, so many challenges, right? So what happens in many situations, parents start reading to the child, storybooks and bedtime stories, all goes great in the beginning. After a couple of weeks, it starts petering down. They don't have that inclination, they don't have the motivation, child is not listening, I don't have time, and then bang, gone to square one. Then after a couple of months, school starts saying, oh, your child is not not able to cope like other children, the child is lagging behind. Again, you start off, right? You can actually prevent a lot of these unnecessary heartaches by adopting these 3 secrets, which would be in the form of attributes that a parents need to imbibe. The first attribute is you need to have an intention. Motivation doesn't really work. One day motivation will come, one day motivation won't come. It is like waxing and waning. But if you make an intention, if you create an intention is like a decision. You are making a decision that I am going to be reading to my child no matter what. That is very strong and powerful, because you know what, success comes through making the decisions and sticking to it. It's not because you're motivated, but because you have decided to do something, right? So a lot of aspects of creating an intention would be, what are you willing to do? Are you willing to read to your child every day, or every alternate days, or once in a week? What are you going to do? What outcomes are you looking for? Are you just looking for a child getting drawn to books, or are you interested in getting a child to start reading, or that your child is already in first grade, second grade and is lagging behind, you want the child to catch up? So what is the outcome that you're looking at? What are the sacrifices that you are willing to do as a parent? Are you willing to let go of that Netflix, the phone chat with your colleagues, or watching the news, reading newspaper, just for the 20 minutes to half an hour? Are you willing to sacrifice? That is also part of intention. Why are you doing what you're doing? That is very important, the big why. Why you want to do? Do you want your child to be successful? Do you want your child to have good self-confidence? One way is building a strong skill. Do you want that for your children or your child? That is the reason that you're doing what you're doing. That is a big why. Whatever it is, you must be congruent in what you do. What you say, what you do, and what you think must be in congruence. No point saying that I'm going to be reading to your child, but you're not doing it, right? Or that you're reading to your child, but then you're not having interest in actually doing it. So there is no congruence. When you're having congruence, which means you're having the interest, you're showing the interest in action and also in words. You're telling the child, you're telling everyone around you that, look, this is my reading session, nobody needs to disturb. You're being in congruence, you're being consistent, you have made a decision now, right? So this particular stage 1, intention, creating an intention, is stage 1, which is more of includes planning. What you are going to do, what you're planning to sacrifice, are you in congruence before you actually start the act of reading to your child? Yes, you need to be empathizing also with yourself, because sometimes we may a little bit falter, but bounce back. Second thing is willingness to unlearn and relearn. Yes, which means being that curious mindset, being that open mindset, having that openness to learn, openness to let go of belief system which is no longer helping you, being observant of a situation. Yes, what do you mean by being observant of a situation? If you know the child is having an issue in reading, you're looking at it as yes, the child is having an issue. You're not trying to cover up in your mind, not getting defensive, saying that no, it's just to do with, he's very young, she's very young, he or she will get better when they grow up. You're not fooling yourself there. You're seeing the situation as it is and actually deciding to take an action on that. That is called looking at the situation as it is. Okay, open to new ideas, reaching out to parents, reaching out to teachers, having good connection with teachers, getting their ideas, what can be done. Letting go of old beliefs which are not serving. Many times, see, we have been raised in a particular way. Maybe we were raised very strict way, but this generation, you got to be in a different way. You got to understand the challenges that they're facing, right? The kind of things that they've been bombarded with, right? A lot of distractions. So how we are going to change our parenting styles to suit this generation? Are you willing to be open to that? Are you willing to change yourself, the style of parenting yourself, so that it benefits the child? So you're willing to change strategies that are not working. You're trying out some strategy, but it's not working. Like, for example, you've decided, I'm going to read for 20 minutes, but your child is not able to sit beyond 5 minutes. Are you going to force a child, or are you going to say, okay, let me start with just 2 minutes of reading and then slowly increase that duration? Are you willing to change the strategy? Are you willing to customize a strategy rather than following something blindly? The ability to customize something that's been given to you by a teacher, by a special education teacher, by a coach, whatever. You are able to customize it to suit your child's readiness levels, to suit your child's age, to suit your child's understanding. And then also being a reflective parent. Are you able to reflect on yourself? Are you able to introspect what went wrong, what didn't go wrong, what didn't go right, what went fantastic? Are you able to make the changes? If you feel you've gone wrong somewhere, are you willing to make the changes, or are you being very defensive and saying, no, I'm just right? That is also being reflective. And what else can be done to make the next session as interesting, the next session is successful? So see, if you just see, all this requires a lot of internal processing in the form of for the parents also. It's not just as simple as reading to the child. If you want to stay consistent, if you want to see results, you got to make some shifts within yourself as a parent. If you want to be motivated, or if you want, if you really want to see that outcomes, you're going to be making those shifts within you. When you change and you connect with your child from the changed perspective, your child also will respond to you from a very different perspective, which actually will be welcoming. So the next thing is making it a habit, being consistent and persistent. It's not, consistency and persistency doesn't come from just being motivated. It comes from making the decision and knowing a big why as to why you're doing what you're doing. If the big why is very clear and always there, you will be consistent automatically. So the big why is why you're doing what you're doing. Is it because I want my child to be successful? I want my child to be a lifelong learner. I want my child to have easy school years. I don't want my child to be listening to, the teacher complains that he or she is lagging behind, he or she is not able to cope. That also can be a big why, right? Nothing wrong with that. As far as it keeps you in the pathway of reading consistently to your child, it's fine. At least showing up for 21 days, because a habit takes at least 3 weeks to set, and then not stopping, continuing after that also. So if you show interest, your child is also going to come around. And if you have made shifts within yourself, when you do all these things, having an intention, knowing the big why, staying consistent, you will start seeing changes in you also as a parent. You will start seeing yourself as an involved parent, a more relaxed parent, because you're reflective. You know that I'm able to see situation as it is. I'm able to change myself. I am not rigid, and I'm seeing results. And I'm enjoying with my child. I'm also able to contribute to my child's reading success, and I feel empowered. Now, isn't that great? You feeling empowered. The more you see results, the more you're willing to read. You will see results. And when you see results, it's a motivation for you. It's like a reinforcement for you to read more. The more you read, the more results you get. The more results you get, the more you read. It is like a cycle. Now, if you feel there is so much more that you would like to know, learn, well, I have launched this product called the Empowered Teaching Blueprint Bundle, which is specifically for parents to empower themselves to contribute to the child's reading success, starting from developing reading interest and then moving on to developing fluency of reading. Now, this is a 5-course bundle designed especially for parents to empower you to help your child be a curious reader and learner. The first course, this is all, it's like a DIY, like a do-it-yourself kind of a course. It's a digital course. It is self-paced and video-based. So you can play the video, listen to what is given in the instruction, follow the instruction, not just listen, follow the instruction, practice it for a week, and then go to the next instruction, practice it again. Others simply not forgetting the first week. Okay, so in the first course, this is a level 1 course. The Empowered Teaching Blueprint is a level 1 course, which is called a tripwire, which is more conceptual. It's like a warm-up kind of a thing, wherein which you have the main course, which is Empowered Teaching Blueprint, which includes fundamentals of feel. What do you mean by feeling empowered? Principles of feeling empowered, creating a strong connection with your child, How to create strong connections. Step-by-step instructions are provided. You can follow that. It's very simple, it's very easy, and you will see the results. Creating interest in your child towards books, making shifts in yourself as a parent with strong intentions. So when you change and then you radiate that change towards your child also will see the change in you, and they'll also radiate back to you in a more positive way. So that is the reason it's important that you also make those shifts within you as a parent. And how to do that is there in this course as well. 3 powerful secrets to enhance reading and building curiosity right at the comfort of your home. Powerful reading strategies. Yes, how can you read in a more powerful, in a more effective way? Getting a child to value the sessions by setting necessary boundaries. That is getting them to comply with you. Now, I also have special gifts for action takers who are taking this course from this masterclass. Yes, which has bonus courses. Okay, the gift includes the bonus course number 1, that is Power Up Attention Blueprint, wherein which you will be able to help your child enhance attention right at the comfort of your house. Okay, so why is it important to pay attention to your child's attention, which is very, very important. Many parents skip that. They just think, okay, she's just being naughty, he's just being naughty. No, it is important to pay attention to your child's level of attention. It will impact the school also, in the school also. So signs that your child has an attention issue, consequences of not addressing your child's attention problem. Yes, it is being discussed here. And also practical steps to enhance your child's attention sitting at the comfort of your home, and powerful strategies that you can use if your child's attention problem is severe, how you can address that. The second bonus course is Enhanced Comprehension Blueprint. So you're getting even bonus course with the main course. This is for enhancing your child's reading comprehension, understanding reading comprehension, categories of reading comprehension, principles behind enhancing reading comprehension. What is background knowledge? Powerful action steps to enhance reading comprehension. There are 2 more things in it, which means what are the right questions that you can ask to enhance your child's reading comprehension. That's not all, you have more. The third bonus course is how to help your child comply with you or listen to you without punishing, without shouting and screaming. In a very positive, in a very easy way, your child will listen to you. Then the 4th bonus is emotional management. As parents, we go through a lot ourselves, right? When we are trying to imbibe change, make changes within ourselves, try to get a child, instill a new habit in your child, getting your child around to read with us. It's a lot of work. Physical work, mental work, emotional work. We can also get drained out. So how you can manage your own emotions. And it is important to manage your own emotions when you are helping your child build his or her reading interest and literacy skills. Well, the whole bundle, 5-course bundle, comes with an offer price, wherein the bonus is free. It comes along with the main course. Now, isn't that great? Well, it's not just about course. You're also becoming part of my Facebook group. You'll be getting weekly coaching. I'll be also hand-holding you wherever you're struggling. I'll be also giving you tips and hand-holding you where you can help your child, which is absolutely free. And you'll also be part of the Telegram group. So it is basically you are not just buying a course, but you're also becoming part of my family. It's like a membership. You're becoming a member of Empowered Parent Hub. So the learning sequence would be first doing the Empowered Teaching Blueprint, the main course, the tripwire, finishing that, following all the videos, not just listening to that, actually practicing it. And then going up to the Power Up Attention Blueprint, third, doing Empowered Comprehension Blueprint, then Compliance Boosting Blueprint, and finally managing your emotions. If you do in a particular order, it will not be too overwhelming for you. And then finally doing it or practicing all together for at least 3 months to see amazing changes. It takes at least 3 months to see good changes in the child. Some children will take 6 months. So don't be so caught up on that, but definitely you will see changes. That is there. If you are consistent, you will see changes. And yes, I will be giving the payment link in the description. If you feel, yes, you can gain a lot and you want to stay empowered, you want to contribute to your child's success, you want to be empowered to help your child build reading interest, and also in the process, also improve their reading fluency, get them into reading. You can come into my hive, you can come into my hub, by enrolling this course. The link for the course description will be given in the description box. You can click and do the payment. Yes, for members only, like I said before, you'll be part of my, it's not just about the course, you are part of my Facebook group, you'll be part of my Telegram group, you'll be given, I'll be coming live every week, doing a weekly coaching for all the paid members. So yes, until my next video, I hope this has been a great help for you. And yes, hop in, don't wait, hop in. It'll be an amazing journey. I'll be there. I'll see you to handhold you, to help you, and be part of my hub as well. So, like I said, the link for this course is given in the description box. Until my next video, I'll see you then. Bye-bye.